Gamercast Network.
Hey. All right. It's a video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
Welcome to the Gamercast Network Video Game Show, episode number 92 for Sunday, June 1st, 2008. I'm Chad, and this week for the roll call, a question from forum member Mix.
Hey guys, this is Mix from the Philippines, and my question for the week is, what is your favorite or most memorable song in a video game? Long live the Video Game Show crew, or as we say it here, mabuhay kayo mga pare.
And joining us this evening is Ivan.
Well, without thinking about it too hard, I've always liked the Final Fantasy Battle Victory theme. I liked it enough to make it a ringtone on my phone at one point.
I had the same as my...
Yeah, which I always found odd because you hate Final Fantasy.
Let's say, you don't even like Final Fantasy.
But that's just an epic classic. Do-do-do-do-do. That's just, everyone knows that one. You're supposed to keep going with the... Because that was the background on that. I don't know if you got that.
I don't like it anymore. I want to change my answer. I like the theme song from Barbie Horse Adventures.
That's the Lone Ranger, dude.
That's the same thing, right?
Apparently anything that has a horse gets the Lone Ranger theme per Chris.
Oblivion. Whenever I got on my horse in Oblivion, the Lone Ranger song would play. I don't know.
Only in your head, man.
And also joining us this evening is Phil.
My answer would be the music from the original Metroid for the Nintendo Entertainment System. You get like the little dinging and the bing.
The dinging and the bing?
Yeah.
You get the ding and the bing over here and over there.
It's like an MC Hammer song, wasn't it? 2 dings and a bing?
Yeah, that part. You know, you go from the dings and then you go into that music and then you're spawning. And
sounds like you're quoting Spaceballs. It's the dings, the bings, the blips, and the blips.
This is the title song.
yeah, the dings like that.
And also joining us this evening is Keith.
Mine is a two-way tie between Street Fighter Ken's music and the Ninja Gaiden music for Nintendo. Do 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 do.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
Finally joining us is Xbox Community Manager Chris Paladino.
What's up? My favorite is Ryu's theme music from Street Fighter 2.
I always like the Metal Gear Solid themes. It's the good stuff. Go look on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find lots of soundtracks for it. I like the stuff from Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. He did... Oh, that's Hans Christian Andersen.
Not Hans Christian Andersen.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
You know, I should have said Ryu, because then I could have been Ryu and Ryu, because wasn't Ninja Gaiden guy Ryu Hayabusa?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny. Ryu Hayabusa is Street Fighter. Ryu Hayabusa is Ninja Gaiden. Ryu Hayabusa is Fighter Hayabusa from NES Pro Wrestling. Remember him?
Oh, the back brain kick.
Yeah.
I used to get so pissed at you when you actually did it.
There was a trick. So the trick, for those of you still playing NES Pro Wrestling, if you line up your butt with the guy's head when he's down on the ground, the second he stands up, if you hit the A button, you'll back brain kick him, and you can just over and over and over, and it's so cheesy. Tricks of the week, that's all.
The very, very weak.
Yes. Trips of the week. WEAK.
This week on the Gamercast Network. What do politics and animals have in common? Nothing. Just listen to Gamertag Radio episode 148, where they interview the developers of Hail to the Chip for the 360. Listen to hands-on impressions with Guitar Hero On Tour and Guitar Hero Aerosmith this week on Uncle Gamer Radio. Be sure to get all the facts on the post-game report. The guys from Sarcastic Gamer have decided to take a week off, so this week it's the Best Of Show. Time to catch up and reminisce. Discover the podcast community that brings you all these great podcasts and more. GamerCastNetwork.com.
Next topic.
Yeah,
Do you notice, though, how music now is, for me at least, not as memorable as the old stuff? Because, like, Halo, I know the intro for the Halo theme, like the monks chanting, but other than that, it used to be 8-bit. It used to be you have one big note theme going through. So all of the stuff we mentioned was sort of 8-bit MIDI music. Now, like, it's all orchestral, and there's 74 instruments, and it's not easy to hum anymore. And
Well, now there are more soundtracks than so much Like, I was a huge fan of the soundtrack of, what was it? Chick, sword, big breasts, cover, stabbing dog with flaming mouth. Titan Quest.
Wow.
You were like William Shatner. Like if William Shatner was being chased and he called you on the cell phone in his last moment, that's what it would sound like. Big chick, flaming mouth, dogs coming.
Well, anyway, that music was very good and very well done, and I enjoyed it, but I couldn't hum any of the songs off the top of my head.
I don't like it, to be honest. I prefer the old stuff.
So you want them to ditch their $1 million orchestras and just come back to some guy with a synthesizer sitting there, hitting one key at a time.
Yeah.
I want both.
I wouldn't say I prefer it, but it does say something that you can't remember the music from now. I'm even more firmly believing that audio is not there to rule the game. It's just there, like with music, the way I see it, if it feels fitting and you're just kind of going along with it, it's doing its job. On a side note, when we were talking about voice acting last week, I've heard the worst voice acting I've ever heard in a game. House of the Dead for the Wii. Not only is the voice acting just out and out horrible, they completely put the infraction of like all the words at all the wrong places. So instead of saying, quickly, let's go this way, it's quickly, let's go this way. and I'm not even exaggerating. It is horrible. But the game is fun, so it's all cool. Just proved my point that as long as the game is fun, I really don't care about the voice acting.
Toasty is memorable, right? Little Toasty, that guy.
That's not a theme song.
No, but sounds.
And Street Fighter, Shurikens, and when he does his little kick thing.
Tiger!
Yoga Flame!
And Liu Kang's bicycle kick. That's a classic.
I never understood why characters would explain what move they're doing in their little yell call.
I like it because it's like leaving a calling card where you yell your move when you punch someone. You should do that, Keith, next time you get in a fight. Jab! Jab! Uppercut! Just see what happens.
Actually, Brian's one buddy used to do that. He used to forearm people, and he would go, Shiver Arm Fury! And he would just start forearming people.
Next topic.
Continuing on the theme, I played Ninja Gaiden 2. The 360. No, yeah, I went back and busted out my Nintendo and I played some in school.
No, so you got a review copy here of Ninja Gaiden 2?
Indeed, although I'm not particularly ready to review it per se since I only played it for a few hours.
And then you threw it against the wall.
No, actually, Chris and I briefly talked, and we both agreed it's really good. It kind of reminds me of God of War as far as the game style goes, and we both agreed it's got the perfect amount of difficulty to it. It's like not Ninja Gaiden obnoxious hard.
Now hang on, but you haven't finished the game yet.
I've made it to the end of Act 2.
So there could be a point where it's going to get insanely difficult.
But at least you can get past stage 1.
Ninja Gaiden 2 has all these new weapons. It used to be use your sword most of the time. Now there's claws on your hands and feet. Eventually there's a scythe, like a big Grim Reaper scythe.
Now can you upgrade those weapons?
Yeah, each weapon you can level up 3 times, and what leveling up does is just open up additional button combo moves. That's the other thing, is this is absolutely completely a button masher with your light attack, heavy attack, and there's combinations for the two, XXYY,
light, heavy,
IXY. Light. Yeah, right. So leveling up your weapons opens up different combinations, and there's an obnoxious amount of combinations. And I don't think they ever intended anybody to memorize combinations. I think they just meant for you to mash on the buttons in sequences. No, Chad, there's 140 combinations. There's no way somebody's going to memorize every one of them and use them in certain situations.
Look at Tekken.
I don't believe it.
I do. Never underestimate the power of a Japanese kid and a video game.
Next time I see him, I'll say, Itagaki-san, Lunar Staff, level 3 combo. And if he goes, light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, then we'll know.
Yes. So you've met Itagaki.
I have. Twice. He's a cool looking cat, man. He's got his leather jacket and his shades.
Is he as cool in person as he seems to be?
He may be. The language barrier is such that I've said hello and he's said hello back in English. And I've talked to his translator quite a bit because he speaks English.
That's probably
he wouldn't be a very good translator. This is my translator. He just stands there looking at you. Hi.
He also speaks Japanese only.
You say a whole sentence and then Itagaki-san looks at the translator and the translator shrugs shrugs.
Hi!
He only speaks Japanese, but he speaks it better than I do because I just mumble.
I have a funny picture of Itagaki-san. It was a Domain showcase. Everybody was getting set up, and I look over, and he's sitting there playing Viva Pinata 2, and I have a picture of it. It's the most classic thing. The guy who created Ninja Gaiden playing Viva Pinata 2.
Curse you, fudge hole!
Awesome.
So, at this point, Ivan, would you recommend this game?
Absolutely. If you like God of War, and by button masher, I don't mean all you
Dynasty
can
Warriors
do is
button
button.
masher.
Right, it's not like that. There are a bunch of moves that are actually useful, and it's not just a matter of literally mashing buttons the whole time.
It's
But
the
yeah, there's-
goriest game I've played on the 360, I think.
There's lots of blood, lots of limbs being lopped off.
It's memorable.
And the thing is, when you lop off the leg of a guy, he keeps hobbling after you. And if you lop off his other leg, he crawls after you. Those guys are actually more dangerous than the guys with all of their limbs, because you don't necessarily, like the guy crawling at you, you don't really see him, and he's still just as deadly with a katana.
The idea of the fighting is you're supposed to try and dismember an enemy as quick as you can so that you could finish him with the Y button. So if you lop any limb off, if you hit Y, you'll do a super cool backflipping ninja death move. But like Ivan was saying, the guys that crawl on you, they jump on your back and they grab you and they stab through like themselves, Yoshimitsu style. You got to kill those guys as quick as you can. It's retarded levels of gore. I was fighting
Unnecessary
at a staircase,
levels.
and a head got lopped off and went tumbling down the stairs. And you just like pause the game and go, yeah, that's pretty pimp.
And also fairly unnecessary.
Yeah, very.
Next topic.
Keith, did you play anything this week?
I played the Mario Kart for the Wii with the little wheel thing.
Ah, yeah, I've played that one too. So what do you think of holding a wheel in midair and driving a little cart around?
You really don't have to hold it up in the air, I've determined. Because I did that for like a couple races, and it was like, man, my arms are getting tired from holding this stupid little thing up in the air. It takes a little bit to get used to at first, but it's kind of cool. I don't think it really adds any. I mean, it would be harder to play the game without it, using the Wiimotes, but compared to like regular Mario Kart using a regular controller, I would be indifferent one way or the other using that or the wheel. I don't think it really adds anything special to it.
Okay, apart from the controls, what did you think of the game overall? Because I found it kind of like it's just Mario Kart. There really isn't anything new.
Yep, I'm the exact same way. It's pretty much Mario Kart, and in my opinion, it really doesn't even hold a candle to Double Dash.
So
Double
it
Dash
sucks.
It doesn't suck, they just didn't innovate anything. There's nothing new to it. It's like, okay, you
Yeah.
have the controls, that's about it. Everything else is just the same. And in fact, I had an issue with it because a lot of the default race tracks in the game are just updated versions of tracks from older Mario Kart games.
They were very, very lazy with it.
Yeah.
I would take Double Dash over that any day.
I haven't played Double Dash. What does that one add that this one didn't have?
Okay, Double Dash adds a whole new element because you have two people on your car and a much more fun multiplayer game.
So between that one and Smash Brothers Brawl, it sounds like both of those are kind of meh.
I didn't play Smash Brothers Brawl. The dude whose house I was at that we were playing said he didn't get Brawl because it was meh.
The one thing I noticed with Brawl is it had a lot of hype before it launched, and then it launched, and I haven't heard anything much about it afterwards. It was like it kind of puttered.
Yeah, Brawl
Wait.
got stupid amounts of hype.
Yeah, and it's like, where is it now? I don't hear much.
I think
It's
it's
just
because of the Wii Fit board.
all right. And let me
Different
tell you, I
hype
messed
that
with that thing too. It's than we said it was.
Wow.
We didn't do its justice. It's a stupid board that you stand on and you gyrate. It's dumber than we said it was before we played it.
A couple people at work play it, and they actually like it. I predict that for everyone that has one, it's like an exercise bike where it'll probably be fun for maybe a month, and then it'll be collecting dust somewhere. But I agree with you, Keith. I don't see the point in it.
There was nothing fun about it. You stand on a stupid little board, and I did some stupid hula hoop thing, and you stand there, just go grab a damn hula hoop and hula hoop. It's ridiculous how dumb that thing was. You do push-ups, you gyrate, and you hold a pose. You vogue. And at that point, I was like, you know what? My life has been less enlightened for trying this thing. I'm done. So yes, the people that knocked us for not trying it, you're absolutely right. We were wrong. It's worse than what we said.
Next topic.
I played for the Wii, was it Wii Summer Sports? Basically, it's got basketball where you can play horse or around the world. Some classic games like horseshoes and lawn darts.
Yeah, lawn darts.
Lawn darts is fun as I'll tell you now. It's really fun. It's probably my favorite game on there.
Jarts. Just side topic. Jarts are rated the #1 most deadly toy ever.
Well,
I
they're
think that's why I like that game
gigantic, pointy metal arrows.
so much. Pretty much.
That you throw at each other.
In medieval days, they used them to kill each other. Now, in the 1980s, we use them as toys. Of course, they're the most deadly toy ever.
We've got all these metal spikes laying around, and we have no war to fight. What can we do with them? Well, let's throw them back and forth in the yard.
Timmy, make a hoop by your feet.
Let's see how good I am after 8 beers.
What's that, Keith? You can't use that hula hoop? Well, let's throw this big dart at it. See if we can make it in the circle.
So anyway, it's just a collection of mini games, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of mini games. It's got some sort of golf. Or, you know what? I'm sorry, take that back. It's croquet, not golf.
Oh, croquet. Does it have bocce ball?
No, it does not.
Oh, man. Bocce ball's sweet.
If I really
It
wanted to
sounds
play it,
just
going
like
back-
they took all the games people stopped playing since video games came out and put them in a video game.
Yeah, sort of, but it's fun. It's fun.
So wait, how much was this game?
Shoot, Jill bought it. I don't recall. I think it was $40.
Is it cheaper
But-
to buy all the actual parts of the various games in the game?
No, because a bocce ball set's like $80.
Yeah, I was about to say bocce ball's pretty, but it doesn't have bocce balls.
I was going to say, I thought it didn't have bocce ball. So you still have to spend $80 on the bocce ball set.
Right.
I was going to say, you could just say, yeah, well, diamonds are $5,000. Well, it doesn't come with diamonds, but they're $5,000.
It's fun, and it definitely holds my interest.
Hold your interest is the point here. Can you see yourself playing it? And I don't know.
6 months.
Oh, yeah. I think I would.
You know, but you're also a person that goes outside on a regular basis.
Jackass.
Unlike the rest of us.
Dumbass. There's no reason to go outside. Everything you need is in, except for work and for food gathering.
Food gathering. That's what you send your settlers out to do, right?
Next topic.
Let's talk about Ubisoft. They had said a long time ago that they knew that they had not done very well at the Wii's launch with their initial titles, and they said they're going to make some better ones. So here are some of their great new games coming to the Wii. Well, the one great new game.
The great new game coming to the Wii.
It's an exclusive just for the Wii. Baby Parties.
Where you shoot them?
No,
Well, when I think Ubisoft, I think, Tom Clancy tactical shooters.
I don't think you have to be real tactical if you're trying to shoot a baby. I think you just pretty much walk up and shoot it.
You take it from the front. I'll lay a smoke grenade first, so it's confused.
Bang, out.
Tom Clancy's Baby Shooter 2.
Well, here you go. This is a collection of mini games where you have to take care of kids and help them progress themselves by letting them do memory games, puzzles.
I'm here to tell you, that's not a game.
They're trying to make it a game. You're here to entertain the kids. That's what the game's all about. Your mini game's entertaining the children.
When they graduate, do they become members of the Tom Clancy Army? Are you training them to be in a later Tom Clancy game?
You're the new Ding Chavez.
Ding Chavez baby trainer. Tom Clancy would do some sweet baby training games, I think.
Baby Mine Locator.
Yes, baby mine locator. It's a baby on a stick, a 7-foot pole taped to the end of a baby.
Okay. Before we start getting hate mail from parents, I think we have to move on from that. We won't go into Ubisoft's other games because
Name one other game.
one other Ubisoft game I was going to mention, but it was for the DS. Has anyone here heard of Alan Carr's easy way to stop smoking method? It's like used all over the world to help smokers quit smoking. Well, they're bringing out the life health coach on the DS, which is going to be the Alan Carr's easy way to stop smoking.
It says, are you currently smoking? A is yes, B is no. And if you say yes, it says, well, stop. Are you currently smoking? Yes. Well, stop.
Ding Chavez is smoke quitter. Someone shows up and shoots you in the leg every time you have a cigarette.
Next topic.
This is a rumored story, was that some publishers, when they give their funding for a game to a dev studio, they also put in clauses that say if that game attains a certain Metacritic rating, it will get bonuses or royalties. Now, some devs have even come out and said that, their game sold like 1 million copies. However, because they didn't get that high enough Metacritic score, they did not receive those Metacritic-based bonuses. And to kind of add some validation to all these rumors, people like Jeff Gertzman and Dennis Dyack have come out and said that, yes, we've heard of this practice and it is out there.
I would think that you would set a number of sales. To me, that's a much better indicator of if your game is any good. If that many games have sold, you're making money, regardless if the game is good or not. You're not making money even if you have 100% on your Metacritic rating.
Yeah, things like Beyond Good and Evil, which was a highly regarded game, had huge Metacritic ratings and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't sell at all.
How many votes do they usually get for game X, Y, or Z?
I think the way it works at Metacritic is you have to be approved by Metacritic, and there's a criteria for approval. One of the things is you have to have a review up of X number of games and X soon after they come out. Say you guys wanted to be part of that. They wouldn't let you because you don't review games frequently enough, on time enough, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So most of the big sites are on there, EGM, IGN.
Yeah, I think we talked about this sort of last week, but doesn't some websites have different, weights?
I know that they sometimes use Metacritic fudging of numbers, for lack of a better term, because somebody like 1UP, they have a scale that's different from most people's scales. So Metacritic will look and say, okay, well, we think thumbs up and the tone of this review means 70 out of 100, or this 1UP gave it a 6, so that's about a 72% or whatever. And there's a process for if you disagree. So it's not like they're trying to manipulate your scores. If you disagree, you can just tell them, hey, this is what I really wanted out of 100, So it's not trying to be cheap. As it is a conglomerate, it can still be broken. I mean, if everyone bands together and decides that a particular game is great or horrible. I thought GTA was a good game too, but for the first couple weeks, it was 100 out of 100.
No game should be 100 out of 100. Because that means no room for improvement.
I agree with you, but to play devil's advocate, what's the point of having 100 as the basis for a number if you're never going to give it to? The argument is, nobody really gives games below a 40. I mean, I haven't seen too many below 40s out of 100, and I haven't seen any 100s, so then wouldn't you just make 40 the equivalent of a 1 and a 99 the equivalent of 100?
I get what you're saying, but they should get a 99. GTA, it was perfect in everyone's mind and 10 out of 10 and out of everything, it should have got a 99 out of 100. Because there's no such thing as a perfect game. This isn't a test where you take and you can get 100% by getting every question right.
I remember the people who hand out hundreds say 100 does not mean a perfect game. It means the best at which you can achieve at the time the game came out.
That's just because they defend all their hundreds they give.
You're getting into a gray area where if you say it's never possible to have a perfect game, so why do it out of 100? Why not make it 99? Well, then 99 is your perfect, and you're never going to have a 99. You know what I mean? And you're going to go all the way down till there's no point in giving numbers in the first place.
Well, there really isn't. Does anyone actually look at reviews for anything? I don't look at or acknowledge reviews because I find them wrong.
I don't pay attention to numbers, but I'll read a review because then I can get a feel for whether the guy doing the reviewing has tastes similar to mine.
Yeah, I think word of mouth for me. So, I mean, I asked you guys, hey, has anyone played Enemy Territory Quake Wars yet? And if you have, then I said, all right, so what did you like? What didn't you like? And, okay, so I know Keith loves stories. So if he tells me the Penny Arcade Adventures is mostly story and that's why he likes it, then I know for me, well, then maybe that's not something else I like. So let me try and find somebody who has similar taste to me that just wants nonstop action and no reading at all.
We would recommend Ninja Gaiden for you then.
Right. Unskippable cutscenes, though. I have to sort of put a little frowny face on the end.
Are there unskippable cutscenes in Ninja Gaiden?
I couldn't skip them. They're not long, but I couldn't skip them.
I was going to say, I mean, now it's picky because the cutscenes are literally 5 seconds long. If you can't sit through 5 seconds of a cutscene...
Nothing's died in 10 seconds! This game's horrible!
Next topic.
There are rumors in Metal Gear Solid 4 there are 90-minute cutscenes. The thing is, they're saying there are 2 cutscenes, which some reviewers have said are 90 minutes long. Now, I've heard other people come out and say that no, there really aren't 90-minute cutscenes. The longest is 30 minutes.
Okay. That makes it so much better.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I had known in the past people have complained about Metal Gear Solid 2 as having a 45-minute cutscene.
Yes.
But it isn't 45 minutes long because part of that cutscene is actually you're talking to somebody else over a codec, which you can hurry through.
No. That's splitting hairs because that's almost as bad. You're still not playing the game. You're just reading at your own pace as opposed to the game's pace.
Metal Gear was one of those where you had to read because down the line you're going to have to remember something that was said. Whatever the hell was it, Metal Gear Solid? I just remember at the end, that game was such a fun game and the end ruined it so bad for me because you got this dumb like Steven Seagal talking about seals and at the end of the movie. We're going to destroy our world if we don't do something. Blah, blah. Shut up. Go kill somebody. That's what you do. Get in a box, sneak up behind someone, and stab them.
Let me paint for you what I've heard of Metal Gear Solid 4 so far. Supposedly, reviewers have said they've gone through the game and it's taken them either 25 or 30 hours, somewhere in that range, to play the whole game.
That's sad.
What?
That's not a long game.
Especially with multiple 90-minute cutscenes.
Well, hang on now. If you take out the cutscenes, how much actual gameplay is there? About 20 hours.
That's pathetic.
Wait. Really?
Gears was like 10.
Gears was like 10. Ivan, you played Bioshock.
I'm absolutely awful at measuring complete game time, but if I had to guess, I would say between like 12 and 15 maybe.
I played Bioshock as well, and I guessed it around the 10 to 12 hour point. And I remember when I played Metal Gear Solid 2, I came in around 13 hours. So people are saying that Metal Gear Solid 4 is 20 hours of pure gameplay. Cutscenes range from 5 to 9, depending on who you talk to.
What's the best game time? If you had to pick a game time that you would like, I would like all games to be between X and Y. For me, it's between 8 and 12 hours. I don't want to play a game more than 12 hours unless it's multiplayer, and that I don't count. Single player, sitting down, story, around 10 hours is good for me.
See, here's the thing that I like. Keep going back to Oblivion. Oblivion is probably 30 or 40 hour game, but you could play it for a hell of a lot longer than that. I was up to over 200 hours, but you didn't have to play that long. Yeah, I would say 10 hours is probably good for mandatory gameplay and not replay value, or you can go back and play on a harder difficulty level or that kind of BS. One of the things actually, taking a quick step back, I was looking through the achievements for Ninja Gaiden, and there's no less than like 10 achievements for completing the game under different conditions, like complete the game using only the katana, or complete the game using only the pole arm, which means you have to go back and play the game 10 different times to get those achievements, and that angers me more than anything.
All right, now I didn't play Bioshock, but from what everyone has told me, once you beat it, you've pretty much played it and you're done with it. Correct?
That's true. Unless there's certain circumstances, like if you're an achievement whore and you want the different achievements and that kind of stuff.
But for the most part, you play the game, you beat the game,
done.
You're done with the game. That's not worth it to me.
Now, Bioshock did not have a multiplayer component. What if it had come with a multiplayer component?
Possibly. Everything is encompassing with me. So if I could sit down and play the game, beat it, and have fun playing it again, that's cool. The Metal Gear game, only played 2 Metal Gear games. Once you played through and beat it, you were done with it.
Metal Gear Solid 4 is going to have a multiplayer component. They just had a big beta for it, Metal Gear Online. There is something more there than just the 29-hour epic game.
Okay, then that's not unacceptable.
Not unacceptable.
That is acceptable.
Next topic.
Mailbag.
Mailbag.
Hey there, guys. Temple Dog from Toronto. Hate to pick a controversial topic for my first call-in, but just listened to a CBC podcast called Search Engine. They were talking to the guy whose Xbox Live gamertag was banned because it was deemed offensive. And the dude's name is Dick Gaywood. And it's honestly his name. He put up his driver's license. So my question is, what do you think of the idea of Microsoft pulling people's gamer tags because of, well, in this case, what I think of as an honest mistake versus not wanting to spend too much time dealing with griefers and what the heck guys who are verbally abusive online. Keep it up, guys. Later. Bye.
Yeah, that dude has a horribly unfortunate name.
Yeah, that dude's parents should be banned. You don't name your kid Dick Gaywood. You just don't do that.
But what could be a different first name that wouldn't be offensive?
Bill, Martin, Edward.
Gaywood is bad, but there's ways to make it worse, such as calling him Dick.
Right. So the whole thing that happened was this dude had a complaint filed on him by a user on Xbox, and they reviewed the complaints manually. So the dude looked and he says, his gamer tag is Richard Gaywood. Yep, okay, all right, you got to change it. And he sent back and said, but that's my name. And the short story is, wow, that sucks. Sorry. It could be considered offensive to other people.
So that's just it? There's no recourse for him because it is offensive? It has to be removed?
Yeah, there's 2 of them, right? The first is using your whole full name as a gamer tag is frowned upon. I assume it's because of things like privacy and little children and crazy stalkers looking you up in the phone book, that type of stuff. The second issue with it was the whole idea of it's Richard Gaywood. I mean, yes, it's your real name. Yes, it's a legitimate. Yes, you can have all this documentation. The problem is if you play a game with 100 people and 75 of them are offended or like, I don't want my little 15-year-old kid playing in a game where a dude's name is Richard Gaywood. That's their right. I mean, they're on the live service, so Like, we're sorry, dude, you know.
It's unfortunate. If your name really was Christopher, that I'm sorry that is your name, and you have every right to keep that name. But being asked by Xbox Live to change your name is probably not the first grief you've ever gotten for your name.
You know?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's been my experience that people who have gone through that their whole lives and have names like that sometimes tend to look for trouble just so that they can say, you know, look, this is my real name. How dare you try to make me change my real name? You know what I mean? I'm not saying this guy did that. I'm just saying in general.
I just don't like the fact that everybody's offended by everything. Everything is offensive. Now, granted, Dick Gaywood, the poor bastard, I could see where some people have issue with it. Again, like Ivan said, you pretty much have to play to the lowest common denominator. So if someone's offended, be it 1 or 50 people, well, then you got to change it. And it's just sad that everyone is offended by everything.
Our group can play on live. We can have a private group in a Gears of War session, and the amount of swear words that are said in a given night are tremendously huge. It's like it's part of the social norm. It's okay. The people don't care. If a random stranger comes in and the same kind of talk was being used, that stranger has a right to put a complaint on the people. So the point is, go where you're comfortable, go where that's the norm. And if everybody on the highway is going 75 and the speed limit's 55, and you go 55, you're obeying the rule, but you're an idiot because you're causing more traffic accidents than everybody else is. I mean, that's the bottom line.
And that was Video Game Show episode number 92 for Sunday, June 1st, 2008. Any ham sandwiches or shared dream pies to give to the world?
Are we allowed to give them to Chris?
No.
We can give Chris a ham sandwich for joining us.
I like how we had to have a debate about it. Wait, can we give him one?
CCG Armory gets a Shattered Dream Pie because it took a super long time, and then my order was incorrect when I ordered 2 games from them.
And what games would you... Oh, this is a board game?
Board games, yes. I got Card Football and Citadels. There's like stock problems and their customer service is no good. And a ham sandwich to Dell because my laptop started smelling like melting plastic. And when I called them, my warranty expires in about 2 weeks. And they were like, wow, that's not good. We're going to send you a new laptop. So that's not a shabby deal.
And just reminding folks to check out the GamerCast Network game nights on Fridays. This week they're playing Rainbow Six Vegas. Go check out the GamerCast Network forums for all the details at gamercastnetwork.com/forums. And as always, send your comments, questions, queries, concerns, or roll call question to the mailbag at videogameshow.org, Skype us at videogameshow, or call us at 320-300-GAME. That is a standard long distance call and all normal fees apply. And that's a wrap. Good night. I don't know if we're going to play a 10-second clip, but we'll go with it. We'll see what we can do. Okay. Welcome to the GamerCast Network Video Game Show, episode number 92 for Sunday, June 1st, 2008.
Holy you got it right.
Thank you.
And then you interrupted him.